Welcome to the Movement MFG podcast, where we talk everything about the clothing industry. I have Rachel Jensen, our in-house technical designer, with me, and we're going to talk about just that. All right, let's go. All right. We're here today with Rachel Jensen. She is our in-house technical designer, and it has been a road for her to get to this point. Rachel,
Yeah,
how's
sure.
how's it going?
It's going really well. It has been a road.
I know,
Jeez.
I know. How was today out on the production floor?
It was good. I was working on a whole bunch of different projects at once. But
A lot of movement stuff.
yeah, a lot of movement and GTS.
And GTS, yeah. So Rachel handles the technical design on our GTS line, on any lines that we have in the works. Hint, hint. If we do, if we do put out more, and then also just for our movement clients. So she handles all of it, all under one umbrella, and it's obviously a lot at times, right?
Yeah. It's kind of sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming, but usually it's just fun.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So let's start with your journey with, okay. So take us through how, I guess the first, kind of like the first time we met, I guess, right?
Okay. So, originally I had been looking for a job like GTS, working at GTS. But I had an interview with a clothing company in Saratoga, Aggies. And during the interview, Aggie had seen on my resume that I had sewing experience. And so, like, mid-interview, she is like, okay, I think you should come with me to, you're going to have a second interview.
A second interview.
And so she like leads me through the back door, like around to, where.
Yeah, our shop was. Yeah. So because at the time, Aggies was really like our first retailer that took our GTS line on, and we were right out the back door. We had like 500 square feet, like little loft where we had sewing machines lined up, and that's where we were making everything. And so we kind of partnered with her, and she carried our line, which she was kind of popular store right on the main strip in Saratoga. Yeah. And so we had been selling things through the months leading up to it, and it was going so well that it got to the point where we couldn't keep up, and she just wanted more and more and more product, and we're like, we're trying. And so, and I was like, I need to find more people, this and that. And so when you walked in the door, obviously I had sewing experience and this and that. She's like, wait a second, like this will help them, therefore will help me, and let me go introduce. And so
help everybody.
Yeah, to help everybody. So yeah, so we're just sitting there one random day. It was in the summertime. I forget what month it was, but yeah, Aggie walks in, Rachel walks in. We have a little impromptu interview.
Yeah.
And I remember the one thing she was like, yeah, I know how to sew. I want to learn more how to sew. I'll do whatever we need, but I want to learn how to design. That was like the one clause, and I was like, okay, all right, we can.
It was. I said it right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
Day one.
Day one. So then, so that was, geez, how long ago did we say that was? Was it 3 years?
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
I think.
Yeah. So Rachel.
3 years.
Yeah. And so I always say, props to her. She learned the ropes and learned the ins and outs of our business. And now runs our technical design. So I mean, what was the feeling like when you literally walked in that door and all of a sudden randomly showed up to us?
It was incredible. Like I looked around and I remember seeing all the patterns like hanging from the ceiling. And
we had fabric stacked to the ceiling.
Yeah, and it was just like like, oh my God, I want to be here.
Yeah. So, and that was our old space, like I said, and then we eventually moved to the next town over, Boston Spa. I don't know if anybody knows that, but yeah, now we have a whole factory space, offices, and so on, and so much bigger operation, moving product out the door. Obviously now Rachel can be doing technical design nonstop and doesn't have to be mixing in production and things like that. But yeah, okay. So speaking of technical design, let's get to it. So, kind of take us through what technical design is kind of like on a daily basis.
Okay, so technical design it's really it's figuring out like the puzzle pieces to the product and how to I guess just how to break it up and put the pieces back together in the most efficient way possible. And you kind of have to try out different things and
a lot of trial and error for sure, stitch wise, fit wise, all that stuff. Do you find that gets repetitive at all?
A little bit, but it's exciting because you're kind of working towards a final goal.
Yeah, true. So with our technical design, we do it in-house. So typically, and I've talked about this on past episodes, past movement docu-series episodes, that we have it in-house. We do the technical design house. We do everything: pattern, technical design, production, everything is done in-house, and we say that that's why we can do what we do with our manufacturing, because it's all in one. And that the third party pattern maker, the third party technical designer, third party tech pack maker, I guess we'll call it. Whatever those things are. Whatever the heck they are called. And then production, fabric, all that stuff. So when they're all kind of individually done, I kind of preach that it's like no one then knows what is the best way for it to go together in production. Thinking in terms of efficiency, thinking in terms of then the customer's price point. You're kind of just stuck with whatever your technical designer does, or stuck with whatever price point, whatever fabric your fabric supplier has. By putting it all under one roof, it makes it all efficient. So when you're designing, kind of take us through what you look for when you're putting it, when you're doing it, thinking it in terms of production.
In terms of production, it's important to make the product efficient, and we try to keep it down to 20 minutes. So that our production can run smoothly. And that's really on our end. On our end, for our production to run smoothly, and the most efficient, we try to, we kind of use the term, can you make it in one sitting? Can a sewer make it in one sitting? And that's just something we developed. Who knows if that's what I almost guarantee other factories are not thinking in that terms, but not.
Yeah, we do. And then on the customer's end, though, what they're seeing then is the best price that they can possibly get, right? And because if it's efficient on our end, then therefore we can provide a efficient price for them, and it all starts with technical design.
Right.
Yeah. So and also the complexity. So kind of take us through sometimes I guess how hard it is to sometimes keep things simple.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it is a challenge because it's easy to make things complicated. It's hard to make things simple. And
we use that line a lot.
Yeah. So a lot of the time, you can achieve a similar look or a similar product without quite as many steps. Or if we change the order of the steps, or it kind of cuts down on the time it takes to make the product.
So what do you think
makes it a little simpler.
So what do you think what do you suggest then for customers, say going into the design phase?
So customers going to design is, I guess, just being aware of being able to make fairly simple products.
Yeah, or just kind of working backwards in a way. Yes. Yeah. So working. Yeah. So when you're going into the design process, in a way, like I always, first thing I do is I kind of ask the customer, like, okay, what is your price point, and then therefore, like, what is the cost you're looking for? Because then what I do from there is I'm like, okay, hey, here's what we're working with, Rachel. What can we produce that's within that?
Right. Right. So then once we have kind of an outline of what they want, then we can go through and see what's actually possible.
Yeah. So then therefore, like, changing a stitch, simplifying a stitch, because for every stitch that we add, it almost adds complexity.
Right.
And then therefore time.
Right. But taking out a stitch, it might not make that much of a difference visually, but it'll save them
money in the end. And then, that's really the balance and the guidance that that I think we bring to our clients and customers. And I know, like, I work more on the customer end, where I work directly with them. I try to get an understanding with what they're looking for, just what I said. I then bring it to you create it, and then therefore I come back to the customer and be like, hey, here's what we're looking at. Can we make these adjustments? What do you think about this? And it's just total guidance. And I'm not sure if brands and designers are getting that elsewhere.
Right. Because it's such close communication. Like, if I have a question, or if Mike has a question, we can talk about it right then in real time.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's available other places.
It just brings I think it's that another level of value that we can bring to people.
Yeah.
But anyways, I took Rachel away from actually her technical design work out on the floor, so I'm gonna let her go. She actually does late days here. We're all everyone else is pretty much wrapping up. She kind of focuses in on her work when no one else is around. Everyone's headed out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it is. But anyways, we're definitely gonna have Rachel on more to talk about this, because it really what she does directly impacts what our customers see and what you see. So we're going to talk more. Rachel, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We'll catch you next time.